Hello, welcome to my channel. In today's video, it's gonna be a little bit different. It's a stream of consciousness, which I do have a couple videos on my channel that are like this. In these videos, there are little to no edits, and yeah, I just kind of say what's on my mind. I've been thinking so much. I always think so much. I have ADHD. We're gonna get back to that soon. But yeah, you literally solve my ADHD like in real time. But anyways, last night I couldn't sleep. I could not fall asleep, and nothing changed in my routine or my schedule. I just was wide awake. I did drink caffeine a little bit later in the day, so it could be because of that, but regardless, I just thought about everything. And I feel like I was having a huge spiritual awakening. And this is not new to me. I have had spiritual awakenings my entire life, or at least they started in my teenage years, and then I just got used to it over time. I'm like, oh, okay, this is my path. This is also one of my life purposes, is to transform. And I don't know if that's because I grew up in different environments. I moved around a lot. It could be because, I don't know if you're an astrology girly or guy, but it could be because I'm a Scorpio and I'm ruled by Pluto and Mars, but Pluto, which is the planet of transformation. And I feel like I'm constantly transforming, and maybe not my physical avatar, if you will, but I'm constantly transforming the way that I think. I guess there's a term for that. It's called metacognition. I just recently learned that. But yeah, I'm always thinking about my thinking how I think. For example, if I meet a stranger and I have, whether it's an intrusive thought or a thought that resonates with me or I agree with it, I try to challenge that thought that comes up. So let's say, for example, I meet somebody and I put a label on them in my head. I will try to challenge that label that I put on them, if that makes sense, because it's just not accurate, it's not accurate most of the time. Anyways, I just got out of a life-changing meditation. I'm gonna link it down below. Great video. It was led by Katie Clark. I have watched so many of her YouTube videos. She's helped me on my self-development journey. But anyways, she leaves a period of silence within this meditation, and that's typically how you meditate, in silence. But it was unexpected because I clicked on a guided meditation today. So she left that room for silence, and I started thinking differently. It's really hard to explain, but I had a different voice in my head than I usually do. And I think it's because in this guided meditation, she got me really relaxed. I did the breath work that she was leading, and it really helped my body to just release all the tension. And I started having thoughts of, oh, it's peaceful in here. Oh, this is nice. Like, it's so quiet. Those thoughts were coming up. And then suddenly I shifted into this image of myself standing there in a blank room. It wasn't necessarily like a white room, white space, but it was just a concrete room, or I don't know. Empty room. And I just saw these pieces of tape on my body, like the painter's tape, white painter's tape, and it was like on each piece of tape, they were all stretched out on different parts of my body. On each piece of tape, there was a label written. And these labels, I started they started surfacing in my mind. So it was labels that I give myself or that I believe about myself, negative ones, and or that I have been conditioned to think about myself. And one of them was my ADHD, actually. I know I have ADHD, but I also know it can be healed, and I know that I can work on it because we are always changing as people. There's no fixed state. There's no end state if you are constantly choosing transformation, right? So anyways, I saw all of these labels, and and I'm not gonna say like all of them what they were, but it was just things that I just believed about myself, even if it was like a small belief, like a really small belief, something in my subconscious, because when you meditate you go into the subconscious. It was just these things that were surfacing, and I'm like, whoa, I didn't know I thought these things about myself. And then in the next part of the meditation, I peeled off each piece of tape, and I actually taped it to the floor. I peel one off, I would see the label, and then I would tape it to the floor. And there was just so many pieces of tape covering the floor, and once I removed every single piece of tape, I got each piece of tape off the floor, and I placed it in an empty page in this really big journal. So they were all lined up now. And then I ripped out that piece of paper, crumbled it up, and threw it in the trash, because I realized that shit is not true. The shit's not accurate. It's a false representation of myself. And labels that I put on myself for whatever reason, and I can choose what labels I put on myself. And I don't have to put any labels on myself. By the way, I'm wearing this hoodie because the room that I meditate in gets very, very cold, and I like to be comfortable when meditating, so I wore this hoodie just like this. Anyways, and yeah, and then I got new pieces of this painter's tape, and I wrote in Sharpie new labels, things that I want to feel, things that I want to be known for, things that I want to picture myself as. And I put them on my body again. Or wait, yeah, I put them on my body again, I believe. I felt what it was like to be known for those things, and then each piece of tape, it was in a different journal, I believe. It was like this crystallized pink and gold journal. It was stunning. I put each label in there. And I think what that was representing is the fact that, yeah, these labels are good as well. Or, sorry, these labels are good, but those are also temporary. Everything is temporary. You can completely change the way you think and who you are as a person. Your personality is not permanent. And also, people's perspectives of you are also not permanent. You should constantly be transforming. We are transformers, you know what I mean? And yeah, that was just a beautiful realization that I had, and I felt renewed and rejuvenated after the meditation. I feel so good right now. And yeah, that was one of the things I wanted to talk about. I also wanted to mention the fact that everything in our lives are manifestations of what is going on up here. I've said that plenty of times on my channel, I believe. And that's at the forefront of my mind, because the other day I was having a conversation with somebody, and we were discussing the different books that we like to read. That's why I just decided to sit here today. We were discussing, like, we were in a bookstore, and we were discussing the different books and genres that we like to read. And one of the things that I brought up was we were talking about religion, and then we were talking about quantum physics, and we were talking about you know, science, like all these different things. And And it reminded me of Neuro Knowledge, his channel, Love. And I told the person I was standing in front of that everything's a manifestation. We manifested being in this store right now, and we manifested this conversation. And yeah, if you are familiar with, or if you familiarize yourself with it, esoteric knowledge, you will be reminded of your power. You know, that power that entrepreneurs have, and successful people, and people that are known worldwide and that have done amazing things, and started these great charities, and just they're doing philanthropy and all of these different things. They have the same power that you have within you. They may call it something different, they may have different practices, but it is your subconscious mind. It is so powerful. So be intentional about what you feed your subconscious mind, because you're not always, how do I say it actually? Your conscious mind can turn off, on and off. When you go to sleep, your conscious mind turns off, but your subconscious mind is always a program that is running in the back that you are unaware of. It is subconscious. It's the unseen, right? But you will eventually see it in a reality. So yeah, anyways, I just want to tell you that you manifested seeing this video, and you have this great power within you. Tap into that esoteric knowledge. Like, this may be an intro to that for you, or maybe you're already on that path, but it's so important. It is literally the key to unlocking your reality, is knowing how powerful your own mind is. It's so powerful. It's not just being a positive person. You can feel your emotions if you're going through something hard, right? But it's choosing to have faith in the unseen, which is that, oh, things are going to get better. That's having faith. And then that starts to alter your reality, if that makes sense. So anyways, stream of consciousness. You guys know when I do these videos, I might go off on a tangent, and sometimes my thoughts are all over the place. But yeah, I just think this is so important. I know a lot of people that are going through really, really hard things, and I just really want to tell them that they can get through it, and they can rise like a phoenix from the ashes if they believe in themselves, And anyways, it's kind of hard to have those conversations with people in real life if they're not already on that path, because sometimes they get defensive or will take offense to it. But I don't know. I believe in everybody, and I know that we can all do great things. The other day, I was praying before I went to sleep, and you know how, like, when you pray, you'll pray like for yourself, you'll pray for your family, and you're like, oh, I'm praying, I gotta pray for my friends, I gotta pray for everyone I've ever met, I gotta pray for, everybody. Then I started praying for collective consciousness. And that was such a powerful thing for me. I've never done that. I prayed for the full collective of the world, and all the animals as well, not just people. And it really shifted something within me. But anyways, I gotta go. Got things to do. And yeah, I just hope you have a really good day. You can have a good day. Tell yourself you're gonna have a good day, and it'll happen. Tell yourself infinite intelligence. Make this day grand. Make it big. Make it fun. Make it memorable. And that'll be your reality. So anyways, talk to you soon. Bye.